Hello everyone, today I'm going to demo mini project for a portfolio report script. So the purpose of the script is to provide a summarized report of a portfolio of assets. So firstly, I'm going to review the source document or the base data, which is simply an Excel document containing a portfolio of shares as shown now. So going through the columns, we have portfolio, which is essentially the account the asset is held in. So here we have current account, SA account 1, SA account 2, we have a US account, checking account, savings account, SA account 3, and SA bond account. So these are the accounts in which the assets are held. The second column states the share name or the asset name, which is held in the portfolio. And share is just a summarized code. We also include currencies. And then quantity, column D, is just how much of that asset is held. Price and value are placeholder columns that are going to be acquired by the script from Yahoo Finance, that being the price, and then after that the value will be calculated from multiplying the quantity and the acquired price. Then we have the column currency, which is the currency in which the asset is denominated in, so the price of the asset is denominated in. So we have ZAR for rands, USD for dollars, and EUR for euros, and we'll note that the currency for SA shares is ZAR, so the currency associated with SA account 1 and SA account 2 and all its shares is ZAR. The currency associated with the USD account is USD, and since our local currency is ZAR, we have the checking account, savings account, SA account 3, and bond account being associated with the currency ZAR, South African Rand. So in column H, we have Yahoo currency code. So this is essentially the currency, but using the specific code required or used in Yahoo Finance. This is required for the yfinance module that's used by the Python script to get to the currency. So we have USD ZAR and Euro ZAR. So for the South African Rand, we have nothing because the statistics or aggregation for the portfolio are going to be done in rands. So we have rands equals rands 1-to-1. Following that, in column I, we have share code, which is again the specific share code required by their yfinance module. So that's the specific code used in Yahoo Finance. So also repeated for the currencies, and we'll note for JSE or South African shares, we have a .jo. I presume that's how Yahoo Finance distinguishes whether a particular code belongs to a certain exchange. So this JO would distinguish MTN, the South African telecoms company, listed on the JSE from, say, another MTN, some other company with the same code listed at another exchange somewhere around the world. where Yahoo Finance also provides data for. And we find that US stocks are just their share code. So MCD for McDonald's, SPY for Spider S&P 500 ETF, and V for Visa, and so on. So in column J, we have sectors, which is cash for currencies, have industrial, financial, property, diversified ETFs, and so on. These sectors are self-selected, and I think one can go as broad or as narrow or specific as you would want. So these are manually entered. So when you add a share, you would decide which category or sector you want it to be associated with. And K is an indicator column named exclude from Yahoo Finance. So since the script we're going to run draws its prices from Yahoo Finance, it may attempt, actually it will attempt to draw every single share or asset price from Yahoo Finance. So it will attempt to find, it'll iterate through the whole list and try to find every share in Yahoo Finance. But some of these assets are not on Yahoo Finance. For instance, we've excluded the ZAR because that is one-to-one. We are trying to aggregate everything to rands. So we're not going to find an asset price for the rands. Its asset price is 1 because we are valuing in rands, and also we have excluded from Yahoo Finance the retail savings bonds, which I've just given it a share code of BND, because it cannot be found on Yahoo Finance. That's not an asset listed on that website. So this is what allows the script to know when iterating through the list, this is an asset to skip and not throw an error. Column L gives us priced in cents. So this is priced in cents Y Finance. So this is for an indicator for assets that are priced in cents on Yahoo Finance. This is mainly for South African shares, as you'll note here and here, because if you go to Yahoo Finance, you'll note that US share prices are quoted in USD, but if you try to search a South African share like MTN Group, you'll find that delayed quote ZAR-C, so in cents. So when we calculate this, we should take this not as 8,810 rands, but rather 88 rand and 10 cent. So this is moneyweb.com, a more local finance site which does write it out in rands. So 88 rands and 10 cents, and not 8,810. Sorry, 88 rands and 10 cents, and not 8,810 rands. Yeah. Okay. So cents and not rands. And currency rate is also a placeholder to help us with the conversion of everything to rands. So what is our goal with all this information? So our goal is to aggregate all of this into a bunch of categories so that we gain some insight or have a summarized view of the portfolio. We'll do this by running a script which is set up to aggregate by portfolio, firstly, so that we can see how much of our total assets are in a certain portfolio. So in the currency account, how much versus in, say, SA account 1 and SA account 2. We will also aggregate by share name. If you'll note that if we look at the shares, we'll have, for instance, South African rands is spread out through several different portfolios. So we have South African rands in the currency account, we have South African rands in the checking account, and we have South African rands in the savings account. So that aggregation will allow us to consolidate this. And we also have, for instance, if we look at the SA account 1 and SA account 2, I believe. No, if we look at SA account 3 and say SA account 1, we have Satrix Indy in this account and Satrix Indy in that account. So when we aggregate via share, we should have these taken as one, and we have a view of how much Satrix Industrial we own in total. Another thing we're going to aggregate by is currency. So that's because we have a USD account and a series of South African accounts. So we want to have a view of, say, how much of our assets are actually denominated in USD versus those denominated in rands versus here the little bit denominated in euros. And then in addition to that, we also might want to know how much do we own in each particular sector. For example, here we have cash. So how much do we own in cash versus how much do we have in, say, diversified ETFs. We can see here that diversified ETFs are spread across several different shares and several different accounts, as well as how much, say, we have in the financial sector. And yes, so the purpose of a script is to take this data, process it, and use the yfinance API for Python to populate prices. So we do not have to go manually and look up the price, calculate the value, and then aggregate it according to the specific columns that we're interested in, such as share and sector and currency, and then output a nice report or visual representation of what's going on in our portfolio. All right, now that's done. Let's actually run the script. So the script is this, and it's in the same directory as our sample portfolio mp4. That is a Excel file with our data, and the data is in the tab portfolio. So just close this to allow access. And we run the script, making sure that yes, we are connected to the internet. So the script portfolio report takes in as input the Excel file in which our data is placed, as well as the name of the sheet in which our data is placed. And then we run this. And it's done. We check our directory. So here we see that several tables, table 2 pie charts, table 3 pie charts, several pie charts have been created. These are pie charts that were drawn by the script. And this relates to this warning that if there are any other files in the directory with these specific names, they will be deleted to be replaced by these particular image files. But that's fine since there was nothing else in our directory. So the main output file is this portfolio report, run date 2024 October 11th. So that's our output. That's a nice standardized name. And opening it up, we have this. So the first tab simply gives us a summary, and we see quite nicely that in terms of shares, our portfolio is composed mostly of the share SPY, 17.62%, followed by BND, which is the SA Retail Savings Bond, and McDonald's, and then followed by USD Cash and South African Rand Cash, with everything going after that at like 5.74 for STX40 and below for the rest. So we have that in terms of a pie chart and a bar graph, a horizontal bar graph. So in terms of sectors, we see that most of our assets are held in diversified ETFs, so 23.35%, followed by 18.41% cash, and then specifically we have followed by 17.37% in industrials and about 12% in financials, and all the other sectors that we hold. In terms of currency, we're about mostly in South African rands. Our assets are denominated, so 51.84%, followed by about 43.7% in USD and a small 4.46% in euros. So looking at our portfolios, we see that a majority of what we have is held in the US account. So things are mostly held in the US account. That is 37.59%, followed by SA account 1 at 14.36%, then SA account 2 at 13.15%, and after that followed by the currency account and the SA account 3, and then the rest of the accounts. So that is a visual summary of our portfolio. If we want to look at a table of these specific aggregations, for DF we just have the completed source table that was taken from the inputted Excel file. So see here we have the prices completed as well as value, and the currency rates completed with things that are in rands just set as 1-to-1. So table 2 is for the shares. We just have a summarized version of just the shares, being the quantity, value, and percentage holding. Table 3 is for sectors, so percentage held in sectors, just as a table, and the pie chart next door. Similarly, we have table 4 holding currencies, and table 5 holding the portfolio breakdown for the assets. And the ordering is simply the shares aggregation, just ordered from largest percentage holding to smallest percentage holding. And that is the report generated by the script. So just a quick look at what was used to generate the script. So looking at the imported Python modules, the main thing here is yfinance, which is the API that lets us pull the share price quotes from Yahoo Finance. We then have pandas and numpy to manipulate data. We have matplotlib for our plots and datetime. Also we are doing some calculations with the date. In this rendition of the script, I didn't use pickle, but there might be one in the future where I use pickle. We have OpenPyxl, which does the Excel manipulations, so pasting the pie charts into the output document, setting up the tabs of the output document, as well as getting the data transferred from pandas data frames to Excel sheets. And we have OS, which does the deleting of the image files, which are referred to in this warning. And the front end, we have tkinter to thank for that. And yes, so these are the modules that are working together to run the script. Yeah, and the primary point of this is if you needed to run such a script on, say, a weekly basis, then it's quite a time saver because you wouldn't need to manually go into yfinance or whatever site or program or provider you use to get financial information, okay, in this case yfinance, and actually manually input these into your Excel sheet. So primary function is mainly a time saver, and it would be extremely invaluable if you needed to do something like this every week or say every day. Okay, thanks. Bye.